Welcome back. He's been making music for as long as he can remember, so it's only natural that when his father passed away, Tim Wheeler wanted to honour memory through song.
The singer's best known for fronting the band Ash and began making his solo album when his father was battling with dementia. One of the last songs he wrote is about his dad, George's final moments, and it's called Vigil. Have a listen.
Our time beneath a hunter's moon, keeping vigil, your kin watching over you, fighting for each breath, just a bag of bones. You're losing but you won't let go. I try to understand all the strength you've shown. In vain, though I hope you know you are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone.
Well, Tim's watching that with us. Welcome this morning.
Thank
You're
you
looking
very
very
much.
closely at the video there because you're saying you haven't actually seen it.
Yeah, that's fresh. We just had it cut, so
People get a sense of, from what we said before, about the reason behind the words there. Just tell us a little bit more about what the song is about.
yeah. Well, my dad had dementia, and during that time, I started writing songs. Well, I'm always writing songs, but I guess what's going on in my life will always come to the surface in the songs.
This is you. Sorry to interrupt. This is you with your dad.
Oh yeah, it's me and my dad.
George.
Yeah.
And how was he at this when this photo was taken? Had his dementia begun?
Yeah, he'd been diagnosed, I think, at that time. So, but it took a couple of years before, I was just seeing a lot of forgetfulness, and his short-term memory was sort of gradually going. But at one point he got an infection, and then it became very strong, and he was put in a dementia ward. But yeah, for a couple of years, he was still like sort of driving around, and I guess like 2 weeks before he really was in the wards, it was my brother's wedding, so he was still out and functioning, and
It can be a very, very distressing time for families, loved ones, and friends watching someone in those circumstances. And for you, it must have been very, very difficult for you. And the music came later. Is that right?
Yeah, I started, I guess, seeing someone so strong, and someone who had always thought such a smart person to all of a sudden be acting very irrationally it was very hard, and I'd never really experienced anything like that, so yeah, the music was a big help to try to understand it.
Did it come to you, so that a period of time lapsed after your father's death?
Yeah.
And then, had you shied away from music? What was your state of mind at that time?
I guess, I was doing bits of touring with Ash during the time, and I was going back to Northern Ireland to see him in hospital. And but I did take a lot of time off afterwards, actually, when I was starting to write, and it was very therapeutic, I found. So the songs were just kind of pouring out. There was different parts of the story that I had to tell. Like, for example, that song Vigil, it was about like the last few days of his life, and about sort of the closeness of the family and the intimacy of those last moments, and also like appreciating the care that he was getting as well.
Got to talk about the album, but say that it's not a downbeat album completely.
Yeah.
It's obviously very emotional,
Yeah.
but there are some uplifting songs there, and messages of hope, perhaps.
Yeah, I guess mainly it's a lot of a lot about love and our relationship, and my family, and the journey you go through when you lose a parent as well. So yeah, I guess that was my fear, that it would be like a depressing record, but I don't think it is.
It's very different from what you did with Ash,
Yeah.
though. And we should remind viewers, you were just 18 years old when you had your first hit, and that was Girl from Mars. Let's just remind our viewers of it.
Okay. I remember the time when you were Girl from Mars. I don't know if you knew that. Oh, Steph, they play cards and you quit German cigars, but she never told me her name. My brother started school again today. I formed to pass the time, to occupy my mind while I'm waiting for her. Action, a bird chemical reaction, brought by dark to by intervention. Yeah, you are a shining light. Look into the tired eyes, see someone you recognize. Finds you can't be on time. Oh, this is slow suicide. Feelings that I can't disguise and never will be reconciled.
That's Pan's People, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that dates it everywhere. A lot of people must be thinking the same thing. We were just saying, well, you must have been in some time capsule.
Oh.
Because that's, what, 18, almost 20 years ago?
Yeah, the first single was back in 1995 when I was 18. So.
You're wearing well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
You were saying crazy when you were watching that. Were they crazy times?
Oh yeah, it was mad. Yeah, I just like left. I left school like 2 weeks before "Girl from Mars" was a hit single, and yeah, like I was off to Japan, America, Australia, and crazy times.
Well, you talking about your dad earlier on.
Yeah.
What did he make of 18-year-old you?
I think
You were rejecting, I don't know, what was the other option? Was it university or?
Yeah, I did have a deferred entry to Glasgow University, but I never ended up taking up. You know, I was like, oh, #1 in charts. I can't come, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Fair point, really. Did he get it? Did he understand? Was he
Yeah, I think
supportive?
they were a bit nervous like at first, but I don't know. He'd always been very supportive. He was always driving us to to do shows all around Northern Ireland, and I think he loved it. He'd sort of once we were getting a bit of fame and stuff. He really enjoyed it. He'd go to like the shop and he'd put all the Ash CDs at the front of the racks and drive around with an Ash sticker in his car. Like I was almost embarrassed by like how much he was into it.
And it's funny, isn't it? We often show people stuff that they've done in the past. Looking at those videos there and that music, it kind of stands the test of time. Do you feel that?
I guess yeah. Well, we play it all the time, all
Yeah.
the time, and I can see the people react to the songs still just as strongly. So, yeah, that's great.
New album is out, Lost Domain. Good luck with
Thank you
that.
so much.
Thank you very much for coming in and talking to it. It's an album that's very, very close to your heart and very, very personal.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing your experience of writing it and putting it together.
Thank you so
Tim
much.
Wheeler, thank
Cheers.
you.
Thanks very much. Thanks for your comments this morning about the train announcement. Some of them have been very amusing.